Okay, education. When you went into Juja.
A disaster, Jeff. You know, I was elected in December of 2007. The KCPE results for 2007 were out in January or February 2008. I don't remember the exact dates. I mean, this was in the during the post-election crisis. Yeah. But the one thing that was clear is that we had reason to be very embarrassed, Jeff. We are home to 5 universities. Probably the only constituency in the world with so many universities. 2 public, 3 private. Jeff, we were so poor. We were among the lowest in Kenya. But let me just put it in perspective. You know that you need at least 400 points to go to a decent school, to high school. Jeff, we had only 17 students in the entire Juja with 400 points and above.
17?
I'm telling you, Jeff, it is a crisis. It was a crisis. And I treated it as such and spent my own personal money to put together a team to go around and investigate the reasons why. At that time, Juja was part of Thika district, Gatanga was part of Thika district. So Honorable Kenneth and I put together personal resources. I don't know what he's done in his area subsequent to that, but I can talk about what I've done in Juja. Because once we got the report, we were a bit delayed. And last year, only in the second term did we take off. And Jeff, in a very short time, it is amazing what we have achieved. First, let me tell you, it took a lot of effort. I have been to every single public primary school to meet parents. Now, parents take so lightly this matter that the first school I asked to meet parents, only 12 turned up. Jeff, I want to say here and on record, I don't care what it's called, I was so embarrassed, but I was so angry and so determined to have that meeting that I sent out personal letters through the school, through the kids, to their parents again requesting a meeting the following Friday. And that in those letters, I indicated that there will be rice and stew and some drinks.
And they showed up?
Big time. I was thrilled. Forget the cost of it.
Yes.
And I've had to do that 1 or 2 places. I'm telling you a fact. I don't care where embarrassed.
Yes.
Jeff, we have had a collaboration between parents, teachers, and students. And in two terms last year, the turnaround was mind-boggling. One of the things we've done is made parents aware of their role at home to seek to see homework, to make sure the kids leave home in good condition, smartly dressed, but in the right frame of mind to be students and to absorb what they're taught, to ensure that they must understand the effect of domestic violence and their own issues at home on their own kids, to understand that, well, it is good for kids to play, there is a time to do homework and to be serious, to understand that they have a role to go to school and inquire as to the performance of their kids regularly. I think, and I must say this, and I support the government programs and I support free primary education, but this whole concept of free has been taken too far. It's all up to government. We have no role to play, and therefore, those kids, if they fail, it's government's fault.
And if they have the wrong leadership, then everyone
Correct.
fails.
Now, what have we done, Jeff? At my cost, I set up exams regularly. Then we use CDF to distribute them. Since last year, in Juja, every fortnight, we have composition for standard 8 because we figured out they have a problem with composition. We have INSHA every fortnight. We have speed tests. And then we have termly tests and mocks. Now, I have done this. In addition, we also figured out there's a problem of comprehension. Our kids don't read English books. You know, Jeff, you and I might take casually Jack and the Beanstalk, Alice in Wonderland, etc. They don't have them. They can't read. If they can't read, they cannot sit an exam in English.
No.
Now, we are putting in at very low cost, probably 20,000, to start libraries in every school. And all you need is a cupboard. You don't need this concept of a library being a huge building. In the classroom or in one of the rooms, you need a cupboard. You need to put in 200-300 books for kids, standard 1, 2, 3, 4, to borrow. Then a teacher needs to follow through and ensure that they are constantly borrowing. But when they bring back, somebody needs to ask them a few questions on what the story was about to test their comprehension. Now, we've just started and we're going to take it to a higher level. But what has been the result so far? Last year, and this is a fact that you can check up anytime, last year, the KCPE results that we got, we went to celebrate in the stadium because, Jeff, we were very excited. 1, I believe we were the best in Central. 2, Jeff, believe it or not, kids with 400 points and above, I told you the last time it was 17, 182. And Jeff, I interacted with all 182 and their parents. I know where each of them is in school. I have paid school fees for those who cannot afford it. And Jeff, I track them because it is crucial that we demonstrate what happens when you pass. And it is important that we push them to the next level so that they do very well and become an encouragement as a source of pride to the others. We also had the best student in Kenya, as you are aware, Kamenjo, who went to Alliance High School and whose school fees I have pledged to pay for 4 years. I'm very excited. Now, these are the soft parts of politics, of leadership, that you can never be able to sell.
And nobody gives you credit for.
Because, Jeff, when I go today to a public rally, they'll be saying, this bridge is like this road is like this. I can point to that classroom, I can point to that hospital. I can't point to a child and say, this is my product, because it isn't. It's the parents' product. But the truth is, I have contributed to their performance. The truth is, I have had a role to play and continue to have a role to play to ensure that that child will not fall out of the system and will go to university and come back hopefully to Juja and to Kenya, even if they don't come to Juja, and make a difference. Correct. You will never, this Vision 2030 is a collaboration up to village level. You cannot sit and imagine that we will sleep poor on 31st December 2029 and wake up in the morning to peep and see what kind of house God has now provided and how many cars are in the parking lot. Yeah. You know, we have to work on it. It's not going to be like that. No. And that is something I am so proud of, Joel. This to me goes beyond the current politics. I am not going to stop being a resident of Juja. Whether or not I'm in political life, Jeff, this I must continue. I'm very excited by what it has done. And for me, it's very exciting to see that if I expand it and do it to the extent that it ought to be done, because we've put in very little resources, we have not put in the money to also start doing training of teachers, to also start following through who's not teaching. Because I've just talked about the parent side, the student side, but what about the quality of the teaching staff? What about who's doing what?
I want to talk about that much more. And also I want to talk about the bridges, the rivers, the infrastructure. A lot of people complain that roads are horrible in Juja. What are you doing about that? What have you done? And let's not forget, you've only been there a year and changed, literally. Correct. Imagine if you had the full 5 years.
You know, Jeff.
Let's talk about that after the break, because I know you have a lot to say.
I do. Thank you.
Where George Thuo, does he seem arrogant to you? Not me. A little misunderstood, if you ask me. But the final call is yours. A year and change, and he's turned this place around in terms of education, in terms of upgrading those slums. 187,000 votes up for grabs, folks. You make the call as we sit back, take a break. Capital Talk is back in a moment.